Bird of Prey 5. El Karuga.
Qapla!
Qapla.
I'm going to take this opportunity, however, to suggest that we all hail Karuga. That's all I'm saying.
Forgive me, Doctor. I'm receiving a number of distress calls. I don't doubt it.
Y'all remember to tip your waitresses. Have a mighty fine night.
If you come in peace, surrender or be destroyed. If you're here to make war, we surrender.
Both good. The important thing is I'm meeting new people.
When the appointed hour arrives, the Marauders will deactivate their cloaking devices and begin transporting Klingon shock troops directly to the landing zone.
Landing zone? Where? Tell me.
Why not? Your feeble weapons will be useless against us. We will kill all your males and take your females to mate with.
All right. Now the Federation's taking over, whether you like it or not. You people, you've been running this planet like a piecework factory. From now on, it's going to be under one roof. You're going to run it like a business. And that means you're going to make a profit.
Look at these 3 words written larger than the rest, with a special pride never written before or since. Tall words, proudly saying, "We the people."
Hi, I'm Nicole DeBoer. I played Lieutenant Ezri Dax on DS9, and I welcome you to Bird of Prey 5 channel. Hail Karuga.
Hello world, it's Bird of Prey 5. Qapla, and welcome to Bedlight for Monday, May 20th, 2024. And it's a Monday, all right. It's been a Monday all day, and it's going to continue to be a Monday for the rest of the day. And then, as with each Monday, since the beginning of time, and possibly before, Tuesday will surely come next. Then Wednesday, and Thursday. Friday, people will take a sigh because the weekend technically begins the next day. Although these days, people think the weekend begins early, so they actually start celebrating on Friday. And over time, people get so excited about celebrating on Friday that they started celebrating the weekend beginning on Thursday. Thursday nights was like the unofficial start to the weekends. It was the party night. Because Friday, you didn't fucking do anything anyway, in anticipation of the weekend. Which is all good, don't get me wrong. I quite enjoyed Thursday evening when I was growing up. I was all for an extra day of pre-weekend enjoyment. And then the weekends would come, and you're like, this is what life was all about. This was assuming you were somebody who was working on the 9 to 5, regular work schedule. Whereas if you were somebody perhaps in retail work, whereas you were expected to work on weekends and you had your free days of the week, some other parts of it, or you didn't really have any free days off at all because you were somebody with multiple smaller jobs as opposed to a career type job, then
Or somebody in an industry that was open 24/7.
an industry open 24/7.
Hospitals,
Hospitals,
ports.
airports, operations, railroads, things like that. Mama Pray reminds us existed. They might not have been TV shows about those jobs, at least not initially. I mean, not on big channels and not with sitcoms about them. I mean, sure, hospitals had dramas. Hospitals had what were those? Soap operas about hospitals, but there weren't many. Well, let's put it this way: until Scrubs, there really weren't many comedies centered around hospitals. Plenty of drama. Not a whole sitcoms, but there were some. So I guess so much for that. The point being, for me as an adult who had the 9 to 5 job, I quite enjoyed having weekends off and talking and having extra weekend time to spend doing weekend stuff. But this particular Monday of this particular week was a tough Monday for the O'Prey clan. Today, Mom O'Prey's late sister, who would have been Mom O'Prey's youngest sister, who is Mom O'Prey's youngest sister, was Mom O'Prey's youngest sister, who passed away back in the late 80s, maybe very early 1990. She passed away 29 years ago. And always remembered Mom O'Prey's one of the biggest, most devastating events of Mom O'Prey's life, and certainly the biggest that I knew her through. Anyway. Richie Poole first in the chat. Welcome, Richie Poole, with a single alpaca. Jedi Bill, Qapla, Jedi Bill, and Qapla to the soup, the Insomniac soup, which Jedi Bill restarted this morning, the first time in a long while. And I I had a stream to go stream to early in the morning, exactly. In fact, having barely woken up out of my sleeping stupor, I went right onto the soup, and I'm sure I made a fool of myself, where I argued against the evils of weed. Although, yes, don't worry, it is still legal in Caroga. Weed is tolerated, just not encouraged. That's the official Carogan stance. Anyway, Qapla Jediville, and all should hail Caroga. Appreciate it. Not Ryan Johnson says, hello in Qapla. Hail Caroga, hail Caroga. FKHC 2005 says, hail FKHC. Mike Richards is greetings from Columbus, Ohio. Greetings, Mike Richards. I hope you are well. Yvette says, good evening, Bird and everyone. Good evening to the lovely Yvette. The King says, Qapla, Birdo pray. Qapla to the King. Gorilla's Random Thoughts is lurking. Hope you're doing well, Gorilla. Cinnabon Bunny says, hello, Cinnabon. Bunny, Cinnabon with a great stream showing off a park today in Minnesota. And although I was kind of dozing while watching, I saw lots of beautiful rivers, water, lakes, lots of, unfortunately, tick-infested forest, but a beautiful park nonetheless. You guys should be watching these streams from Cinnabon Bunny, where he goes out and he explores the beautiful parks and whatnots he can get to for his lunches. Hakeem says, hail, Bird and chat, Qapla. Hail to you, Hakeem. Mike Richards confirms Garfield hates Mondays. He does indeed. The Random Menace. Greetings from the future. Greetings, Menace. And apologies again. Listen, for anyone who still plays Birdle, I have not yet updated Birdle. I have updates ready to go. I just have not yet had chance to actually update it. So for the foreseeable future, we are still playing at this point. These are the original words that were created from the original guy who created Wordle before the New York Times took it over and decided fucking they were going to improve. They were going to improve the greatest game created in a generation by changing up the fucking words, which is all bullshit. So the words that are on Birdle now are, for the most part, that just are the original words that the guy would have had the New York Times not butted in and changed everything. In the not too distant future, I will update the words list again for Birdle, and they will be mostly the original Wordle words, but with the any words to which I do not know the definition will be removed. That's the Birdle difference. The Birdle difference is it's Wordle without the shit words. Once in a while, through random choice or chance or whatever, there's a word in Wordle that's just a bullshit word, and I'm like, fuck that word. It shouldn't be there. Somebody should make a better Wordle, and that what person was me. So I basically can just edit the words I want to edit. Of course, it's not as easy reading through hundreds and hundreds of words and finding the ones you just you don't recognize, and just putting in a new word in its place. It's not as easy as it sounds. So yeah, I'm in a few. I've got at least probably another year's worth of words. But I really want to go in and do at least 4 or 5 years worth of words, so I probably don't have to ever worry about it again. I'm sure that within 4 or 5 years, either people will stop playing it, or more than likely, I will have gotten a cease and desist letter, and so it won't matter. But
I'll be downstairs. I can come down.
okay, Mama prays, headed downstairs. FKHC 2005 says, and every day from here on will end in a Y. Yes, that is true. The Random Menace is in the Middle East. Weekend starts on Friday, and Sunday is a normal work day. Well, the Middle East is a little effed up, as we like to think of it. Mike Richards is the orphan miners asked for weekends off once. This is true. They never asked again. Sci-Fi Sith Dan is in the house. Qapla. Sci-Fi Sith Dan. Qapla. Sci-Fi Sith Dan, becoming quite the prolific streamer himself. Congratulations, Sci-Fi Sith Dan. Doing some good work out there. Carlo Albanese, Qapla Carlo, says, hi, hope everyone is as well as can be. Hail, Caroga. Hail, Carlo Albanese. And Carlo says, the soup has returned. Excellent. It was back. It was back this morning. And Carlo says, I just got banned for the legality of weed. You're not going to get banned, Carlo. FKAC plus, you need to watch out for snakes. Yes, if you're in the Minnesota wilderness, you do need to watch out for snakes and for ticks and snakes. Mike Richards is Wordle for nerdles. That could do that. Carlos has said there's only 23 words it can be. No. I know more than 23 words. It might not seem like it all the time, Carlo, but trust me, yeah, it is. It is. And Antiderivative Jill is in the house, and she says she is listening and driving. Thank you to Antiderivative Jill. As always, we hope she's driving safely. Carlos says, but I am banned. just not from any stream. What do you mean you're banned, Carlo? I don't. I See, this is the kind of thing that worries me, because if I feel like I say I don't know what you're talking about, but then you turn out you really are banned from something and I didn't realize it. I'm like, well, you told me. But it's the type of thing like I'm ignoring because I don't think it's true. Carlos says 24 words, right. Well, I'll say I think it's in the high 20s. I think it's the high 20s, at least. If we were, if he had said 33, I might have said okay. But 23, I think that's a little. I'm not saying it's 53. I'm not saying it's double. Oh, Carlo got a driving ban. No Jeeps for him. Oh, Arlo. I'm sorry to hear about that driving ban. Yeah. I'm certain it's an issue between you and your local town, or I know it's not a state, whatever the equivalent is. I'm assuming it will work itself out in time. In time. Okay, guys. So let's check out on the day of today, May 20th. Be a Millionaire Day. That is one great day. It would be nice to be a millionaire, unless you were already a billionaire, in which case Be a Millionaire Day, not a very good day. That's the day every billionaire fears, when they're back to being just a dirty, petty, little person millionaire. Somebody they used to be able to deal with, to push out of the way. These dirty millionaires coming in, trying to peek in the backyard, trying to come around the fence, and they need to hire private guards to keep the millionaires away. Fucking millionaires. And for somebody who worked for a billionaire, let me tell you, those millionaires, they can be very pesky. Okay. It is the Cameroon Republic Day. I'm not even going. Okay. The Cameroon Republic Day is celebrated with military and civilian parades, speeches made by important personalities. Okay. Here's an interesting day. Clinical Trials Day. It's a day to highlight clinical research professionals' contributions to public health and medicine. I would think you would celebrate the people who volunteered to be in the clinical trials. Admiral Teague with a $2 super chat says, "Here's the hoping. We're all dirty billionaires." Indeed, Admiral Teague. That is a worthy hope to have in the future. What? You want to be a clean billionaire? Well, it's okay. I guess you can be the clean billionaire. You lost the box cutter. I hope Sassy's not hiding it. That's, yeah, I guess. We don't want Nephew O'Prey to find it. Uh, where did you have it last? Hmm. Hmm. It's well, it's Eliza Doolittle Day. Holiday celebrates the Cockney accent and how we can be better versions of ourselves. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not on Eliza Doolittle Day. Flower Day. May 20th is Flower Day. Flower Day is here. What can be lovelier than gifting flowers to those you love? Of course, they have a thorny rose as the Hats for Headway. Help raise funds for brain injury survivors by posting a photo of yourself in a hat. I don't believe that actually raises money in any way whatsoever for people with brain injury. International Red Sneakers Day. That's boring. National Band Directors Day. That's also boring. National Eli Day. Show all the Elis you know, they and their names are loved. So the only Eli I've ever known is the football player, the brother of the other guy, the New York Giants Eli. National High Heel Day. Nice. Actually, I'm not really a fan of high heels. On women, I think it's ridiculous that women put their feet into high heels. They cause themselves the pain to just to what? To look sexy for men? Believe me, ladies, you look sexy enough. We don't need it. We don't need your feet at high heels. It's that time of year to strut in your highest heels and make history. Yeah. I don't understand it. If anything, guys like shorter women better anyway. Well, why would people feel the need to force their feet into that situation? I find it disappointing. I was more shocked to find out that high heels started off with men. Men started wearing high heels. The French, they started off as all crazy things, as a French in France, the rich people of France, the rich men of France started off wearing high heels, and then it eventually triggered down into a woman's thing. But it started with the men, which I was uber crazy shocked with, because I was going to say men aren't wearing high heels anymore, or I would say ever. I didn't think I didn't think men would ever have worn high heels, because figured we were lazy enough to say, I don't care if it does make us look better. We're not going to waste. We're not going to put our feet in these things and get the pain that's associated with them just to look better for what? For women? Fuck that. But apparently French men did it at some point, and it made kind of ruins the whole thing. Ruined it for the whole sex. National Pick Strawberries Day. Let's make your own. Let me take you down because I'm going to strawberry fields. So today is the day to pick strawberries. I know the day to pick blueberries is generally August. Up in the Adirondacks, you got up there end of August or early September, and blueberries everywhere. Blueberries to your heart's content. That was the time of year Mama Prey, who was very, very pregnant with me. I'd be born in November after all. So she was up there in September and full of blueberries. And that's when she heard the bear. She didn't see the bear, she heard the bear. And she ran up to the house. And guys all came out with their guns to find this bear. Of course, they didn't find anything because they're mostly city guys in the forest. And as funny as that must have looked like, they didn't have any success finding the bear, which was probably better for everybody. Certainly better for the bear. But yeah, a lot of blueberries. National Quiche Lorraine Day. Want to be a master chef without the hassle of cooking several dishes? We've got you covered. National Rescue Dog Day. Step up to show kindness and love to rescue dogs on this National Rescue Dog Day. National Streaming Day. Grab your remote and popcorn, enjoy your favorite shows this National Streaming Day. Who made May 20th National Streaming Day? National Women in Aerospace Day. This day also celebrates women working in commercial aviation, defense, and space. National Women in Aerospace Day. Now, what do you think? Seriously, 50-50? Is that woman a paid model or an actual pilot? And before you vote, just take note that she is in front of what looks to be a very old cockpit. Okay, that is not a modern jet. That is very old, all analog, probably 1950s technology or prior. Honestly, that almost looks like World War II tech. But other than that, the rest of the plane looks nice. I don't know. I'm not even sure it's a real plane. Like but I don't know. I would say that's a paid mock. Now, not to say there are obviously female pilots, women pilots, but she doesn't she doesn't she doesn't have that pilot vibe. It's Victoria Day, a day to celebrate all the wonderful things that makes Canada, Canada. Congrats to our Canadian brothers. Weights and Measures Day. Grab your measuring instruments. It's time to discover weights and measures facts. That's a big day. That's a big day. It's Whit Monday. I thought that was White Monday. Whit Monday is a Christian holiday celebrating the descent of the Holy Ghost. I had no idea Whit Monday was a thing. World Autoimmune Arthritis Day. Let's support each other in the fight against autoimmune diseases. Together we can find a cure. I hope so. I hope so. World Bee Day. Bees. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. Bees are critical to the plant reproduction and human nutrition. Let's protect them. Bees are dangerous. Bees are dangerous. They should be destroyed. They should be kept. We should be using our science, our genetic engineering to breed a better bee. We should be genetically engineering stingerless bees. Why don't we do it? We can. We could make bees that don't have stingers, and we could make their genetics, we could make it dominant, and we could breed out the ability of bees to sting humans. That would be terrific, right? And then if a bee colony became Africanized with killer bees, but the bees couldn't actually hurt anybody, everybody would be happy, right? It would be better for everyone. It'd be better for us. It'd be better for the bees because they couldn't die, right? Right now, if a bee stings you, it dies. But if they didn't have a stinger, all they would do would be land on you, and they'd basically rub their ass on you, and eventually they'd fly away, probably. Or if they didn't fly away, they would just land on you until you were covered in bees, but they really couldn't hurt you. So you would go to like a hose and you would wash the bees off, and they'd get mad and they'd fly back, and you cover them with water, and they'd fall on the floor. But once they couldn't fly, if they were soaked wet, you'd rinse them off, you would leave, and the bees would eventually go home. And yes, some might die, but the vast majority would be fine. And at the end of the day, there would be more bees than there are now. Everybody would be happy, and life would go on. And finally, World Meteorology Day. The Meter Convention developed the global measurement standard to facilitate scientific study, industrial production, and global trade. Sounds like another day for weights and measures. Weights and measures day, basically. May 20th. Weights and measures. Weights and Measures Day falls on May 20th, celebrates history related to international trade and exchanging of ideas across the globe. In 1875, the world came together and signed an international treaty that agreed to use a standard system of weights and measures. Whenever there is a consensus, new codes have to be set. This was necessary since throughout human history, different parts of the world use various measuring systems. All in all, this made trade and communication on trade subjects difficult. If you're looking for a way to celebrate, and we've compiled a list of the best bathroom scales currently on the market. Yeah, that is bullshit. It's a way of making money. Here's a way. Click on these links and we'll get paid for anything you buy. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like it hurts, but who really needs to order a bathroom scale? History of Weights and Measures Day. It was first celebrated in 1875, and since then it's been a traditional day that's celebrated worldwide. It's celebrated to acknowledge an international treaty known as the Meter Convention, signed on May 20th, 1875, in the capital city of France, Paris. Why do they fucking put it backwards? In the capital city of Paris, France, not the capital city of France, Paris. What that makes me think France is the city and Paris is the country. Oh, God. The convention was not only signed on this day, but it helped solve some various problems related to weights and measures, not only in the United States, but in many other countries worldwide. The signatures taken on this international treaty were from 17 different countries that had agreed to use a common system of measurement throughout the world. The importance of this international treaty can be understood by the fact that several units of measurement have been derived from this convention itself. That includes units such as meter, kilogram, liter, etc. Funny how the United States uses different measurements from the rest of the world still. The first table, 1588. 1588. Wow. Queen Elizabeth proclaims 14 units in total, including the gallon, bushel, ton, and ounce. 1824, a prototype meter is made. A platinum bar is cut into equal parts and becomes the international standard for the length of measurement. 1875, the Treaty of the Meter. The treaty establishes the International Bureau of Weights and Measures. And in 1960, the International System of Units is established. The 11th General Conference of Weights and Measures established a modern metric system of measurement. Interesting. Let's see what's going back on in the chat. Stan Lee says he was just riding shotgun in his buddy's black 2023 Grand Cherokee this morning. Oh, wow. Were they? Man, time flies. I had my 2002 Jeep Grand Cherokee was the one and only Jeep I bought new. It was my first and last new Jeep. It was a beaut. It was a beaut. Now it's 21 years old. Oh my God. If my Jeep was a person, it would be legally able to get drunk. It would be legally able to drink alcohol. My 2002. LDG at Free the Net says, hey, welcome, LDG. Stanley says, if I had $1 million, I would buy you a K car. A nice, reliant automobile. I know I'm missing something. A K car must have been something. Stanley says to LDG, mention millionaires, and LDG pops up. Mike Richards says, does the God Emperor have private guards? Not at the moment. Pleasant Valley Picker, Canada, Qapla, Pleasant Valley Picker, says, happy Victoria Day, an actual real stat holiday in Canada today. Yes, I saw it. Congratulations and happy Victoria Day to you, Pleasant Valley Picker. Stanley says to Pleasant Valley Picker, happy May 24, even though the 24th isn't till Friday. Pleasant Valley Picker says the holiday is today on the 20th. Stanley says Sassy will hijack the houses with the box cutter. The house. Sassy will hijack the house with the box cutter. No, she won't hijack the house. But remember, Sassy does not forgive or forget. Carlo Albanese says it's next to the sink. It probably is. Admiral Teague says, you just wait. Angry Higgins, you just wait. Mike Richards says, Charlie plus box cutter equal coup attempt. I don't care if it's an attempt. I'm afraid it's if it succeeds. Stanley says, post a photo of your head injury. Massive head wound, Harry. Admiral Teague says, a band director's day is kind of exciting. You just consider it's kind of exciting of you. Consider it includes Ricky Ricardo. Oh, Babalu. Babalu. LDG says, you know Elihu. Oh, Elihu. That Elihu. That's right. I didn't even think of it, Eli. All right, because you know why? Because I think his name is Elihu. I didn't think his name was Eli. Eli Manning? Yes, that's the Eli. Peyton and Eli Manning. Those were the brothers. We had the better brother. And by we, I mean, you know, the New York kind of New Jersey Giants. Stanley says they make their ass look better. Admiral T says that's worthy. The shoes. You're saying the high heels. High heels make women's asses look better. I don't I'm not sure if that's true. What does one have to do with the other? Stanley says, "Shut up, bird. Let them hurt." See, this is it. I'm a nice guy. I don't want women in pain for the stupid goal of raising their ass up a couple of inches to make it look better. Okay? If women are going to be in pain, let them in pain for, you know, pleasuring the men folk. I'm just saying that there's reasons to be in pain, and there are reasons not to be in pain. And your shoes shouldn't be one of them. Admiral Teague says it is still appreciated, though. Yes, some guys just don't agree with me. That's fine. That's fine. Stanley says it makes their leg look more toned and improves ass presentation. Stanley says they still do. Short guys always wearing dress shoes, boots with 1-inch heels. And Stanley says, you don't understand being like 6'6". I was never 6'6", 6'4", maybe. He says, it's tough when you're under 5'10". I understand, okay, a flat platform shoe. If you're short and you're wearing a platform shoe that gives you an extra inch or two, that I get it. I totally get that. Okay, but if you're pushing up just the back of your foot and the front of your toes are being mashed together and like literally getting bloody from being, held in place, and all your body weight being recentered on your toes instead of the bottom of your foot. That's where the problem comes. That's where the problem comes. So for men or women, I get the platform look, even though the platform look is ridiculous. I get the why. But the high heels, especially when you're not that short to begin with, that's just crazy talk. I mean, there are women who are already tall who put on high heels because they think they need to, and they don't. That's all I'm saying, is they don't. Stan Lee says it's better for them, it's better for nature, it's better for the bear. Model. Okay, it's a model, Stan. Stanley is pretty sure that's a model as well. Josh Street says, Bird, since it's National Rescue Dogs Day, does that mean we should launch a rescue mission to free Sassy 23 before she is turned into Beagle Bits? No, okay, and I thought we were over this Beagle Bits bullshit. There is no such thing as Beagle Bits. Stanley is sort of like Manny plus size models that are actually just normal size models who wear fat suits under their dress. Many plus size models. I had not heard about many plus size models that are just normal models wearing fat suits under the dress. Stanley says that's why most of them are miraculously still have thin faces. FKHC 2005 says Canada, what went wrong? Jedi Bill says she could fly the plane better than you. Well, you know what, Bill? That's probably true regardless. Carlo Albanese says, remember to fly Karogan Airlines. All our pilots are female. I'm just saying that I know what I saw in the looks on the faces of both the fellow passengers and also the people working, the crew, the staff working on the plane when that one time, maybe twice in my entire quite busy flying life, where I've been on many flights, and only once or twice was I on a plane where both the pilot and co-pilot were female. And man, when it came up and we got to hear both voices and they were both female, and everybody just kind of looked like back and forth, and the dread that came over the cabin, because you wonder, is this really going to be your last flight? Is this going to be the one that gets you? And I know it's not right, and sure, women are perfectly capable of flying planes, but man, I'm sorry, ladies, I'm sorry. I grew up at a time when men were pilots. Overwhelmingly, men are still pilots. And I never minded having a woman co-pilot, but that day when I heard it was a small plane, and it's not that small. A small plane would have only a single pilot, but small enough that it was a small enough plane, but big enough that still required a pilot and co-pilot, and had like two or three flight attendants, and it was a relatively short flight. I believe it was from Phoenix to Vegas, and we just we all looked at each other, and that was it. This was it. We had to go. You couldn't say, let me get off the plane. I mean, I'm sure somebody probably, but nobody was getting up to say, I can't take this flight. Um, Stanley says, yeah, BTU the owner who put in the time to become pilots generally do not look like her. Yeah. Stanley says that chick had way better things to do. Carlo Albanese says, remember, Karogan Airlines get you to your final destination faster than most. Carlo says, do they wear high heels? I don't think women pilots are wearing high heels. Carlos is in Karoga. All heels are high. No. Stanley, FBs indeed. Carlos is boobies don't sting. Exactly. The boobie. The boobie is the best bee. What's your favorite bee? The boobie. Stanley says, I read that when they just hired people to fertilize the plants, it actually worked way better and cost less than depending on the bees to fertilize crops. Stanley says they're only good for honey. FKHC 2005 says it's the bee's knees. Stanley says, would it be better for the whales? Everything's better for the whales. Can a bee sting a whale? It could. I mean, it wouldn't do much to the whale, but it would sting the whale, it would die. Karogan bee eugenics. Gone. Yes, Mike Richards. That's the one eugenics we should be dealing with. Stanley says FKHC, birds and bees. FKHC says this is a family show. Except for the US, the metric system is the tool of the devil. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. That's why we don't recognize the metric system. John Araki with a 99-cent super poop super sticker. Thank you so much, my friend. I don't know when that happened, but I see it there in the chat. So I have to scroll up. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, I'm back. Antiderivative Jill says, bees are wonderful because they help pollinate the fruits of other plants we eat, not just honey. We'd lose 30% of our agricultural yield in the world without them. Jill, there's that 99-cent super poop super sticker. Jill, I'm afraid that you have been misled. Big B is lying. The big B industry is overstating the importance of the bees. While I do understand the bees do help, I believe that there's a conspiracy to make people afraid that if we lost the bees, like society would almost end. And the reality is that it wouldn't. The bees weren't part. Okay, bees. The European honeybee wasn't present throughout most of the world, right? And things, life was fine. Life went on without it. We don't need bees to pollinate our food. You don't need bees to pollinate our plants. Life finds a way. And yeah, bees are actually an invasive species. So we don't need them. FKAC says, sounds like what you said about France, Paris is also Day Dyslexia International. Yeah. Admiral Teague says, every American who uses drugs knows metric weight. Maybe that's why I'm so against the metric system. Admiral Teague says, dyslexics of the world, untie. 47 Yorktown says, hello, young sir. Hello, 47. FKAC says, hail to Admiral Teague. Admiral Teague loved his Jeep Wrangler. Ah, you were one of those. Was it a TJ or a YJ? Or something else? Melted Copper. Hey there, Melted Copper. Says, everyone has seen these cicadas but me. How did you miss the cicadas, Admiral? Melted. How did you miss the cicadas? The cicadas everywhere. Not this year. Stanley says they didn't even use a key, just a push button ignite. Admiral Teague says K cars were the Chrysler version of an economy car. Ugly, but they saved Detroit. Admiral Teague says it's a 2 to 4. It's 2 to 4 all year. It's a 2-4 all year. Mike Richards says hashtag more jerky for sassy. Carlo Albanese says, nice guys, finish last. It's only polite for her to, like, well, that's true. That is true. Admiral Teague says, Bird, your extensive knowledge of women's footwear is edifying. Is that a word? Hakeem says, don't they make lifts for short people? I think that's what Tom Cruise uses. Yeah. Admiral Teague says, what about cha-cha heels? Do they also count? I have no idea what that is. Mama Frey does. Let's say cha-cha heel. Stan Lee says, does Mama Frey wear high heels to help her look taller? No.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, she says. But
when I was younger, even my bedroom slippers had heels.
I'm sure you guys heard that.
Yes.
But that was a necessity, right? To help preach.
Yeah, I mean, not to look good.
Right.
It was just, I wore heels all the time. Not spike heels, but what do you call those things?
Platform.
Yeah, like a platform with like a cork sole and then got up higher in the back.
You get higher, right.
Yeah, and just slip into them. Yeah.
Right.
But as the years passed, the shoes got lower and lower and lower.
You get it not to look taller, but to be taller.
Right.
Stanley. You need it to be able to reach draws and
not draws, Closets.
Closets. Things.
Cabinets.
Cabinets.
Drawers are usually low enough.
Okay. Platforms.
Yeah, well,
Stanley says, or has she never cared about being short and just went for comfort? She didn't hate being short.
no, I said it didn't hinder me,
Yeah.
but I didn't realize that I was always around people taller than me that could grab something off the top shelf. Or it's only
recently as she realized that she, without tall people around to grab things down for her, that she's really been hindered her whole life.
and I'm at the point in life that I should not be climbing a ladder.
Right. And she's at the point of life where she shouldn't be climbing ladders. So.
That's right.
Admiral Teague says Liv Tyler works as a plus-size model under the name Mia, but I think she really put on the weight. Mike Reed says, I love tall broads. You get a pick and a yodel. Don Rickles. Classic. Mike Richards. Stanley says, you're so fat. I heard you went to Baskin Robbins and they're down to only 5 flavors. FKHC says, Bird, you and me both. I grew up when men were flying planes only. Admiral Teague says, flying over Vegas, gambling with your life, sounds fun. Vegas is a very tough airport to get into. A lot of the mountains, but you know, when the air is pushing the plane all around.
Oh, turbulence.
Turbulence, a lot of turbulence. A lot of turbulence getting into and out of Vegas.
New York, Puerto Rico is also famous for its turbulence.
Admiral Teague says, I would imagine that Bird of Prey is greatly put off by Ortega's. No, actually, to be honest, Admiral Teague, Ortega's is probably my least disliked person on Strange New Worlds. Ortega's is I don't, she doesn't bother me. I don't think, but you can only make so much fertilizer out of a person. Wow. John Araki says, when is the blood red portrait of the Emperor of Karoga finally getting painted? I don't know. Carlo Albanese says, NPR never post relish. Admiral Teague says, like most Americans, I learned the metric system buying and selling drugs. I don't know why everyone else is pretending they didn't learn it the same way. And Teague also says we can make cybernetic bees and replace those useless insects. I agree. I absolutely agree. John Araki says the bees work for free, just like Karogan miners. Carlo Albanese says the bees we see fly, and they are females. That's right. Although no, the flying bees are drones. Aren't those the male drones? The ones they protect the queen. You only see the queen when the queen is flying, to start a new nest, hive, whatever. Yeah, a new hive. Admiral Teague is the number one pollinator of plants is likely the wind. John Araki says, give bees the vote. Mamo Frey 2024. Mike Richards is the big bee industry conspiracy theory. That's a new one. No, Mike Richards. Okay, it's a real thing. Hashtag be aware. BEE aware. It's a yellow and black striped ribbon. I created Be Aware campaign for against bees years and years ago. Carlos is bees for weed. Hakeem says the government wants to protect bees so they can monopolize the honey. Carlos says remember to cast your vote May 19th. That was yesterday. Damn it, Jim. Stanley says Admiral Teague, did you take the doors off the Wrangler? Good question. Jedi Bill says hello to Carlo. And Carlo says, praise the soup. Teague says, it's ironic. These were the bad guys in X-Files 1. Yeah. John, I knew the bees were the bad guys. John Araki says, Carlo, Joe does not read everything in the teleprompter. Last name, boss. Admiral Teague says, Stanley, no, but I did drop it off. Randomness, fun fact, heels were first part of men's fashions introduced by the French royal. That's what I said. Stanley says wedge heels. Random Menace says, I rarely meet people taller than me. 6'6" is still above average. Yes, well, it's rare, but I tell you, when you do meet people taller than you at that height, they really, really make it a presence. It's really noticeable. Carlo Albanese says, all I ask for is a tall ship and a star to steer by and high heels so I can reach the wheel. Admiral Teague says, I'm the perfect height. Everyone shorter than me is simply too short. Everyone taller than me is too tall. It's as simple as that. Jedi Bill says, you are wrong, Admiral Teague. Admiral Teague says, when you die at the palace, you really die at the palace. John Araki says, always be under on WNBA games. Always bet under on WNBA games. Berto Prey 5. Jedi Bill says, you are dead wrong, Admiral Teague. Admiral Teague says, Jedi Bill, we're the same height. Captain Fandom Nerd says, hello, Captain. John Araki says, old El Paso, greater than Ortega. Teague says, I'm never wrong. It's just sometimes the facts let me down. Carlo says, no, the male drones are only to mate. The female bees are the workers. Really? I did not know. Jedi Bill says, no way to Teague. You are sane enough. John Araki says, hashtag be afraid. Admiral Teague says, no argument, Bill. I wake up crazy every day. The performance enhancer. Admiral Arabic Sonder. Qapla Arabic Sonder. Live long and prosper. Jedi Bill says, I am the face of what is considered to be adorable. Right. And Admiral Teague says, Bill, you are the perfect height. And Bill is 5'10". So there you guys go. 5 foot. Let's see, weights and measures. 5 songs with measurements in its title. 6 Inch by Beyonce. 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton. 6 Feet Under by The Weeknd. 16 Tons by Tennessee Ernie Ford. That's the good. Now that's a song. And Kilos by Bugsy Malone. Let's see. Can you think of a song by Frank Sinatra with a measurement in its title? Or Billy Joel? 3 coins in a fountain? Well, yeah, but I wouldn't say a coin. I don't think a coin is a measurement. I mean, it's not 3 feet. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, with a measurement. That's right. I mean, fly me to the moon, but there's no real measurement. Anyway. Go back. That let's check the news today. Rain will hold off through Memorial Day weekend. Just the other day, it looked like it was going to be rain all week. NASA doesn't want random billionaires messing up the Hubble telescope. What's going on with that? Turns out having a lot of money may not qualify you to repair delicate scientific equipment. Billionaires having a moment with space right now. Elon Musk with SpaceX, Jeff Bezos with Blue Origin, and even Richard Branson with Virgin Galactic. All rich folks are building rockets so they can go look at space. But one billionaire isn't satisfied with just looking at space. He wants to go touch it, specifically touch the Hubble Space Telescope. Jarek Isaacman, a guy who made a payment processor once, has offered NASA funding for a maintenance mission to the Hubble. Isaacman doesn't own a space company himself, but is offering to fund a SpaceX mission to the aging, beleaguered piece of orbital scientific equipment. There's just one problem. According to NPR, NASA thinks he may do more harm than good. Internal NASA emails obtained by NPR through a Freedom of Information Act request show that about a year ago, longtime Hubble experts were asked to weigh in. They expressed concerns about the risk of what is being proposed. The best case scenario, a successful private mission could improve Hubble's ability to point to celestial objects and, by boosting its orbit, extend its life by years. In a worst case scenario, the accident could leave the multi-billion-dollar telescope broken, or even more tragically, tethered to the dead bodies of the astronauts sent to repair it. Isaacman, for his part, doesn't seem concerned about the risk. To his mind, NASA's objections, which it's worth noting, have not yet resulted in a conclusive denial, are about gatekeeping space. Again from NPR. Up until now, there's been only, one group that would ever touch the Hubble. And I think they have an opinion of whether or who should or shouldn't be allowed to touch it. Isaacman said, I think a lot would say, I'd rather it burn up than, go down a slippery slope of, the space community growing. So I think that's a factor now, unfortunately. If there's one thing NASA classically wants, it's to maintain complete control of space as a concept and ban anyone else from entering. It's why the agency has installations at museums across the country and often works with outside parties to promote space enthusiasm. It's a big misdirect to keep other folks from ever leaving the atmosphere. Four-dimensional chess. Isaacman isn't a scientist by trade, but hopes to be one of the first civilians to participate in a spacewalk using SpaceX's new EVA suit, which is yet to go to space. However, he runs a company that maintains and operates a private fleet of military aircraft. If that sounds dystopian and mildly terrifying, that some guy can own and operate approximately 150 tactical fighter aircraft without any kind of electoral process to keep him in check, that's because it is. Well, I don't really see the big deal. I'd let him do it. I mean, the Hubble's just going to die regardless one day. We don't put money into it. The Star Trek icon who annoyed producers by losing weight. I tell you who it isn't. Uh-oh. The Slavic assassination attempt photo that nearly got away. We got to look at that. Okay. Every amateur photographer's nightmare. You spy a once-in-a-lifetime picture and you forget to change your camera settings. Reuters' Stringler Radovan Stolska was one of the few people left in the makeshift press center in the Slovakian town of Handlava, about 40 minutes prior to Prime Minister Robert Fico had briefed reporters on a cabinet meeting had just ended. The sound of applause told Fico was coming down to the square. Because he heard a noise that resembled firecrackers, he instinctively grabbed two cameras, pointing one out the window, pressing the shutter release. Had been shot, critically wounded. Security men were already bundling him in his limousine. He had the wrong exposure as the camera was set for indoors. It was the first attempted assassination of a European political leader in more than 20 years, blah, blah. At a time of rising nationalism, conflict in Slovakia's neighbor, Ukraine. After 4 decades of working in less than glamorous provincial Slovakia, it's okay. The train has come. Stolska might have seen his big moment slip right away, and then he adjusted his settings in a split second, allowing him to get one last successful frame. The car door already closed. The chauffeur was getting in to drive away, but that image with the security men scattering in all directions would still be enough. There he is. Look. No. Who's the Star Trek? Who's the Star Trek? Star Trek icon who annoyed producers by losing weight. It's a Voyager person. One of the things Star Trek fans never think about is the difficulty of maintaining weight for the actors. Well, apparently it's not a thing in New Trek anymore. Those Starfleet uniforms are pretty expensive, even on Paramount budget. So there is always a low-level concern that the stars will gain weight, requiring the creation of a brand new outfit. That was not the case with Kate Mulgrew. However, according to Star Trek Voyager costuming department, their big concern was that Captain Janeway would actually lose weight. Kate Mulgrew lost weight quickly. This information comes to us from Star Trek Monthly number 9, amid the ads for Playmate Toys replica and an expansion for the customizable card game. There was an interview with Robert Blackman. On the subject of Kate Mulgrew, the Star Trek costume designer said, "We have to beg her not to lose weight." Why is this so difficult? According to him, Mulgrew is very energetic and burns up the calories like there's no tomorrow. Wow, well, that clearly did not last long. Looking at her from Orange is the New Black. In order to keep her in her existing costume, his goal was to keep her at a US size 3 or 4, which he admitted is very difficult sometimes. In retrospect, Kate Mulgrew likely considered this a very good problem. After all, most of us would like to set our phasers to kill if it meant being able to burn calories effortlessly as this Star Trek icon. However, costume designer's point is something that we've never really considered before. The professionals who are so worried about actors fitting into their current costumes, an actor rapidly losing weight can be just as annoying as an actor rapidly gaining weight. Tom and Harry had an opposite problem. Unfortunately, not all the actors on the show could burn calories as easily as the captain. Previously, Kate Mulgrew's colleagues, Robert Duncan McNeil, who played Tom Paris, and Garrett Wang, who played Harry Kim, ended up annoying the Star Trek Voyager costume department for a very different reason. Specifically, these two gained weight thanks to enjoying the craft services table a bit too much. They never suspected how much the show would go out of its way to shame them. While they didn't report any criticism from Kate Mulgrew or their other fellow actors, McNeil and Wang spilled some serious tea on the Delta Flyers, their Star Trek Voyager recap podcast. Their claimed dialogue was written into the episode Demon, in which Paris accuses Kim of gaining weight, and Kim accuses Paris of being out of shape to shame the actors for putting on weight in real life. The writers weren't nice about it. Things eventually got so bad, the costume department actually sent girdles to the two actors. This prompted Wang to start exercising nonstop in order to lose those unwanted pounds. McNeil had more trouble losing weight, later reporting that keeping it off was a constant struggle and that he was shocked that the writers went out of their way to write mean-spirited, fat-shaming into an episode. As this awful incident reveals, Kate Mulgrew's ability to shed pounds so easily likely kept her out of the crosshairs for some very petty Star Trek writers and costume designers. In retrospect, maybe we shouldn't be all that surprised at how easily the Janeway actor kept losing weight. After all, studies show that coffee can help you lose weight, and there's nobody in the galaxy who appreciates a good cup of caffeine quite as much as Voyager's controversial captain. Certainly, Mama Bray does enjoy that coffee. So, I wonder what would happen if Star Trek Discovery crew had to deal with the writers who made Tom Paris and Garrett Harry Kim cry because of their weight. I barely noticed. How would they deal with Mary Weissman? New Star Wars plan. Pentagon rushes to counter threats in orbit. Target to slash prices on 5,000 frequently bought items. Red Lobster. Oh no. Red Lobster files for bankruptcy. Okay. Let's head over to Dear Bob. Let's see what's going on. Even Jesus listens to 9 Inch Nails as the random menace. Inchworm, says Stan Lee. Mike Richards is inchworm. Jedi Bill says LDG is what crazy people look like, but you are too, to Admiral. It's going to rain all week, and I have tickets for an outdoor stone show Thursday. That sucks, says Admiral T. Stan Lee's is measuring the marigolds. Daniel's Hot Topics. Nice hybrid. Hey, Daniel. Carlo Albanese's NPR. Nice private rocket. Admiral Teagues is when I go out, I want it to be while I'm fixing a space telescope. Hemorrhoids Hurts says, good morning, Bird and chat. Good morning to Hemorrhoids Hurts. Admiral Teague says, we now have the Webb telescope. Let the Hubble crash. Who cares? No, Admiral. The Hubble still is better than Webb in certain things. The Hubble is visible. The Hubble takes visible light. The web is infrared. Yes, the web is a generation improved, but there's still plenty of work for Hubble to do. Mike Richards is Hubba Bubba Bubblegum. Mike Miranda Menace says the idiot missed. Yeah, yeah. Kuroga denies any involvement. Admiral Teague says it was me, I did it. He owed me money. Hemorrhoid Hurt says one thing Star Trek fans don't think about anyone is back in Star Trek, especially after STD and Picard abomination. Hey, you goddamn right. Goddamn right. Admiral Teague says all these stories about old Star Trek we see about how they were mean to one person or another are BS are BS new track propaganda. So what if lazy wardrobe people want a different? Exactly. Who the fuck cares? And you know what? There's no way you can tell me that the fucking cost of a fucking uniform even affected their budget. Okay? No. An extra uniform for a couple $100, maybe it was $1,000 to be custom made. Yeah, it didn't. That's fucking rounding error on their budget. They probably had a new uniform every fucking week. Admiral Teague says Garrett Wang was a pretty big guy with super long hair. Now, Hemorrhoids Hurt says super long Wang. Interesting. Daniel says they had craft service table. That's interesting. Not that craft. Admiral Teague says new Trek people come out of these unflattering stories about old Trek, and it makes me sick. And Daniel's hungry now. Mike Richards says Tilly interfere with artificial graphics. Admiral Teague says they always claim the old track writers were as petty as the new track. No. They always go out of their way to attack the old writers. Yeah, the old writers were much better than the new writers. Admiral Teague says Mary Wiseman would never have reached morbid size under the old writers when you figure that in. Jedi Bill says Star Trek is dead. It cannot be saved, just like everything else. Admiral Teague says Jedi Bill, that's what the government wants you to believe. Jedi Bill says no, Teague, it's dead for decades now. You are still in your denial phase. Admiral Teague says the uniforms have no actual individual cost, as they already had the material, and the seamstresses work there already. I agree. Okay, so, dear Bob, do you like flags? Yes, I like flags. All types. Countries' flags. State flags. Dear Bob, P.P. Le Pew, the French skunk from Looney Tunes, Pepe Le Pew. So you have some issues with us Frenchies wearing high heels, eh? Well, giants like yourself might not need the extra lift in your shoes, but to regular men like me, I'm a normal 5'5", enjoy higher heels, so watch your mouth, Bigfoot. Pepe. Uh, okay there, Pepe. Just keep your mouth, keep your never mind. Dear Ba, Mork from Ork here. Have you seen Mindy? Niha, Nanu. I haven't seen Mindy, but I wouldn't be adverse to seeing Mindy. Dear Ba, do you shop on Temu or AliExpress? None of the above. Hemorrhoids Hurts has sent a direct email to Dear Ba called Picard. Now let's see what this is. And I Dear Bob, can you help me understand why Picard was wearing an eye patch, talking in a French accent, and talking in a French accent was a good idea. I can't unsee it. Your friend Hemorrhoid. Well, Hemorrhoid Hurts. That was one particular scene in one particular episode of Picard. And I'm guessing it was all for a joke. I'm guessing it was all for a joke. And, in the scheme of things, it wasn't terrible. I mean, the series was garbage. Don't get me wrong, but that one scene, it was sort of funny. It wasn't the worst thing I'd ever seen. Let's put it that way. But yeah, I don't think I can explain it. I don't think I can explain it anymore. It was what it was. And dear Bob, do you get your underpants at Kmart? I love mine. Yellow in front, brown in the back, to figure out how they go on. LDG. I don't think that's from LDG. And no, I do not get underpants from Kmart because I don't need them. Anyway, guys, I think we'll call it a day. What do we got in the chat? Pride flags. Pride flags. Yeah, you know what? Even a rainbow flag. I don't mind. I like rainbows. I might not agree with everything that comes attached to it, but I like a rainbow. I like colors. Well, colors are nice. Alan says minutes before putting on the eye patch and the accent, he said, "I'm not an actor." That was the episode with Homicidal 7. Oh, it was meant as a joke. I totally thought they were serious. No, it was, I think it was meant as a joke to the audience. Jedi Bill says everything these days is all bullshit. and we all freaking doomed. Hakeem says all the Kmarts are closed down around here. Yeah, I think they did here too. Carlos says, have a fantastic day, night, everyone. Emery Turks says, Jedi Bill, that's the spirit. And I couldn't agree more. Bill says, effing typos, stupid smartphones are dumb. Carlos is going to have a long walk. Going for a long walk on the prom. The Random Menace says, thanks for the stream. Stanley says, false flags. Nope. Carlos says, hail, Karoga. Admiral says, I'm not sure. They weren't serious. And Daniel misses Kmart. The good old days. Indeed. Good night. Qapla. And take care.